Good afternoon, magnified souls. It is so wonderful to be here today with you. I have been called and thinking a lot about the word tolerance. And I'm just going to read the definition to you while I'm thinking of it. Tolerance means a fair, respectful, and permissive attitude or policy toward people whose opinions, beliefs, practices, racial or ethnic origins, etc., differ from one's own or from those of the majority. It is freedom from bigotry and from an insistence on conformity. We are living right now in a time of great divisiveness, of an intolerance of each other's opinions, and it is drawing us apart. And I want to talk a little bit about this today because as magnified souls, we are about frequency. We're about magnetizing what we want in our lives. We are about shaping our reality in the way that we desire. But when we become divisive, when we become intolerant of anybody else, our frequency lowers. We go into resistance. We're pushing. And if you think about anything that you feel an intolerance for, maybe it's even just a medication, what does your body do? It rejects it, right? It pushes it away. It's resistance. It says, ooh, this is not good for me. It is the same thing with our beliefs and what we have been taught about ourselves by our parents, our friends, society itself. Often we are given a set of beliefs. We don't even know we've been given this set of beliefs because it's like, and I've talked about this before, it's like somebody put an IV in us and they slow dripped all this information into our psyche. And we believed it. We believed it hook, line, and sinker, and we didn't challenge it. And that slow drip said, hey, you're not worthy. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not successful enough. You're not anything enough. And then if we didn't meet expectations, we were shamed. We were made fun of. And so what did we do? We shrunk. We conformed. We became what the slow drip told us to be. And for many of us, we fought it. As we got older, we fought it. We resisted it for good reason, because it's not truly who we were. So when we have a resistance that is, I want to talk about internal, external. There is resistance that comes from our soul. This is a resistance that says, this is not who you truly are. And I want you to look inside and recognize who you really are. This is your soul talking to you. Then there is resistance that we have to things outside of us. And this is the resistance that I think so many of us are seeing. We're resisting other people's beliefs. We're resisting other people's experiences. We're resisting the government. We're resisting everything. But why? What does that truly get us? It gets us nowhere. Resistance keeps us from being our true self. Resistance is what shrinks us. Part of tolerance is learning acceptance. First, we have to learn to accept ourselves, every single part of ourselves. I've been doing a lot of work on my inner child, and I had no idea that there was so much packed into that little me. I had no idea of some of the experiences that she went through. I had no idea how much it was impacting my reality right now. And I found that she was often very quieted. She was told not to have a voice. She was told to be small. She felt unloved by both of her parents, and she questioned why they hated her. And she questioned how come they couldn't love her. And what she's beginning to realize, and I am too, is that they were hurting themselves. They never had a role model. This has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. They didn't know how to love. Nobody had ever loved them wholly and fully. Nobody ever taught them how to love. No one ever taught them how to accept themselves. And I think a lot of tolerance is about us learning to accept ourselves, to accept the parts of us that we really don't like, the parts of us that we see as unlovable. And when we can go in and we can reconnect with our soul and we can begin to love ourselves wholly and we can begin to accept all of us, the good and the bad and the in between. When we can accept every part of ourselves, all of a sudden we can begin to accept everybody else. Because what we begin to realize is that every soul is on this earth for a reason. They came here for a certain experience. They came here to learn certain things. We may not like or agree with what their journey is, but our job is to accept that that soul is on a journey just like we are on a journey. We are on our own journey. We have brought people into our lives because they needed to teach us something, whatever it might be. It was the path that we decided we wanted to go down. We have free will, so maybe several paths were presented to us and we made choices along the way. But that was our path and our choices, just like another has their own path with their choices. They may not be our choices. Our choices may be completely different. But once we can accept who we are, we can begin to accept that's that's not us, that's not our experience, and it doesn't have to be. In fact, it doesn't have to impact us in any way, shape, or form. And that's the most powerful thing about acceptance is once you have done the work, meditate, journal, write out all these things. Let the energy, the reason we become intolerant of ourselves is because we're holding on to old energy. We're not letting it pass through us. So our job is to figure out, what is it that we're holding on to? What is this energy? Why is it there? How is it helping us? What are we learning from it? And when you write it down or when you meditate on it, somehow this releases the energy. And I can speak to this because it happens to me every time I meditate, every time I journal. All of a sudden, I can feel the energy moving out and through me. And I can feel my body getting lighter and brighter. And this is what I want for you, is to learn how to accept yourself, every part of you, learning how to be tolerant of everybody else's experience. It doesn't matter what it is: political, religious, sexual, ideological beliefs, whatever it is. Learn to accept that that is a separate person from you, that is not you, and you do not have to have their beliefs. You do not have to hold their beliefs. The key is to allow them to have their experience, to allow them to experience the path that they need to have. If we take that away from them, they may never find their true passion. They may never find their true way forward. You can't help anybody else. You can't save anybody else. That is their job. Your job is to save you, to love you, to look inside you, and to understand your path and what you are about. It has nothing to do with anything out there. And when you begin to look inward, that's when you can allow everybody to be who they are, to accept what they are going through as their own experience. There's a parable that I refer to often that I just absolutely love. And it's about a monk who decided one day he wanted to go meditate in the quiet and the peace by himself. And so he took a rowboat out to the middle of the lake and he was meditating quietly and peacefully. His eyes were closed when he felt the bump of another boat up against his. And before he even opened his eyes, he felt anger arise from within him. And he thought, how dare this person interrupt my peace? But when he opened his eyes, there was no one there. It was just an empty boat. And he realized in that moment that the anger that he often felt, the emotions that he often felt, were not caused by anybody else. They came from within him. So when you get caught up in the news, in politics, in religion, in all of these different things, remember that what's arising in you, the emotion that's arising in you, is coming from you. It doesn't come from out there. It's not caused by anybody else. The more we can go into tolerance, the more we can go into acceptance, of what is, and we can allow everything to be exactly as it is without trying to change anything but us. That's when we find peace. We become so peaceful. We begin to see the suffering that others are going through, and we feel compassion, not just for them, but we begin to feel compassion for our own selves. And this is important for us to do because when we feel compassion, we feel love for another, our frequency rises and we become so magnetic that people are drawn towards our light. Our light shines brightly. But when we resist, it drops. Our light drops. We should just allow everybody to be who they are, what they are. Allow them their journey. Allow them their learning experiences, no matter what it is. The more of us that can learn to do that, the higher the frequency of this planet is elevated, and the more peace you feel inside, the more peace the external world begins to feel. And that is what we are here to do as light workers, as souls who are enlightened and awake. We are here to raise the frequency of this planet so we can all ascend into the 5D. There may be some souls who are just not ready to move from this 3D experience. Maybe they have not yet had the lessons that they need to have. And so they will stay here in this reality. That is their choice. That is their right to have that experience. For others of you, you may be activists, and that may be part of your path. And the only way to know is to go within. Is it about changing something out here, or is it about changing something within you? That's the key. If you're trying to change something out there, it will never happen. You cannot control another. You cannot change another. You cannot truly take on anything for anybody else. It is theirs to live and theirs only. And your life is yours to live and yours only. So when all this stuff arises, take a deep breath 5 times at a minimum. Breathe in deeply, hold it at the top, breathe out slowly, hold it at the bottom, and do that for 5 cycles. That deep breathing activates your autonomic nervous system. And all that means is you go from fight or flight, your your cortisol begins to drop, and you relax and your nervous system relaxes and your mind tells your body you're safe. Whenever anything arises within you, before words are spoken, take a deep breath, write about it in your journal, meditate upon it if you have the time, but always breathe and then respond. Try this. I guarantee you will begin to see the most amazing changes in your life. You will begin to draw things to you, people, experiences that your soul desires on its journey. And that's what it's all about. It's us on our journey. being the light that we were meant to be, following the path that we were meant to be on, learning the lessons that we were meant to learn. Allow everybody that experience, including yourself. Thank you, my magnified souls. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening.